Please be seated. Co-prosecutor, you may resume your questioning.
Merci, Monsieur le Président.
Thank you, Mr. President. Madam Civil Party, did you ever hear of the office known as S71? Does that code name ring a bell to you?
I myself have never heard of that. I did not hear of S71, even S21, I never heard of it.
Tout à l'heure, vous avez parlé.
A while ago, you talked of a meeting with Khieu Samphan in Phnom Penh. In fact, you talked of two meetings. The first was at Wat Unalom, and the second, I believe, was at the stadium. Let us start with the second meeting when you saw him. Can you tell us exactly when that meeting took place and under what circumstances? You spoke quite fast a while ago and we were not able to grasp those details. Can you tell us when you saw Khieu Samphan the second time, where and what he said?
The first time I met Khieu Samphan was at Unalam Pagoda when a conference was held for the male and female youth. The second time I met him at the Borei Kila Stadium and not the Olympic Stadium. That was the occasion where Hunam and Huyun were put on trial.
Et qui se trouvait au stade à ce moment-là?
And who was at the stadium at the time? Was there a crowd there? Was the entire unit there? And in what year was that?
It happened in 1975, although I did not know which day and month. I attended that meeting at the Borei Kela Stadium. I saw Khieu Samphan on the podium, and there were many people from various units who attended the meeting. There were those from various zones, the north, and other zones. They were selected to attend that occasion where Hunam and Huyun were put on trial.
Bien, je vais venir à.
Very well. We'll talk about the first meeting now. Can you confirm whether that meeting at the Unalom Pagoda was before the meeting at the stadium when you saw Khieu Samphan?
Yes, I met him at Wat Unalam or Unalam Pagoda, and that happened before I met him at the Borei Kela Stadium.
Je n'ai pas reçu de traduction.
I did not hear the interpretation of what you said.
Est-ce que vous pourriez répéter votre réponse?
Could you please, Madame Civil Party, repeat your answer? I didn't receive the interpretation thereof.
President Civil Party, please repeat your answer, since the Deputy Co-Prosecutor did not hear the French interpretation. civil party. I met him for the first time at the Boraigila Stadium, and that happened in 1975, and I made a mistake earlier. And the second time that I met him was at the Unalau Pagoda when he chaired a conference for male and female youth that day, and the conference lasted for the whole day.
Est-ce que Khieu Samphan est resté toute la journée?
Did Khieu Samphan remain at Unalam Pagoda for the whole day?
Yes, he gave instructions for the whole day.
Vous avez dit tout à l'heure qu'il...
A while ago, you said that he told the assembly that all women who were cadres had to work for the state, and that those who were above 19 and who were from all the ministries had to get married. Did I properly understand your statement? Were those the terms that Khieu Samphan used?
At that time, that's what he said. He says that the age range was between 19 to 25, and that they should get married, and the younger ones should not get married.
Et vous avez également dit tout à l'heure...
You also said a while ago, if I'm not mistaken, that Khieu Samphan stated that you had to get married. In any case, those aged between 19 or were aged above 19 as far as women were concerned, and that they had to get married in order to make children and to work to defend the territory. Did I properly understand you that that is what he said during that meeting held at the Unalam Pagoda?
Yes, I am not mistaken. That's what he said. The age range was between 19 to 25 or the 30 to the 35, and that they should all get married, and only the younger ones should not get married.
Est-ce que le fait, d'après ce que vous avez dit, d'après ce...
From what you said, regarding what Khieu Samphan said, that the purpose of getting married, beg your pardon, was to make children. Was that the purpose of the marriages, according to what you heard Khieu Samphan say?
That's what he said. And not only him who said that, during all meetings that I attended, they talked about the same thing. All cadres raised the same point during the study sessions or meetings.
Lors de cette même réunion, est-ce que...
During the same meeting, did Khieu Samphan broach other subjects other than that of marriage? I'm thinking, for instance, of the importance of the work that you were assigned to do and the disciplinary measures that had to be observed. Did he talk about such subjects?
Before Khieu Samphan spoke about marriage, he spoke about leading male and female youth to strive to work hard for the party and the state, and that we should not violate the disciplines or regulations. And he spoke about the policies of Angkar. And these were the main points that he raised.
est-ce que la discipline au sein du parti était...
Was discipline within the party strictly observed? And can you give me examples of instructions that were given to you on a daily basis? What did such discipline consist of exactly?
During the Khmer Rouge regime, the discipline was very strict, and we were not allowed to engage in any moral affairs. If such moral offense happened, maybe only a small amount or small number happened, and they could take measures against or to prevent such occurrence.
Par acte d'inconduite morale, est-ce que vous voulez dire...
By acts of moral misconduct, do you mean that sexual intercourse with a man, if you were a woman, was forbidden strictly? If not, can you be more specific, please?
Civil Party, please hold on, and Council for Khe Sampon, you have the floor.
Oui, merci.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. My objection is same as the previous one. The co-prosecutor is proposing answers to his questions. I do not object to broad questions, but if he inserts in questions answers, I would object to such questions and the manner in which they are being asked. I see that all parties before this chamber are very conscious of this, and I will rephrase my question. Can you be more specific when you talk of acts of moral misconduct? What does that pertain to exactly?
I meant when I said about morality issue is that even amongst the soldiers or amongst those people working at the commerce unit, we have to respect their title and name. We refer to them as a comrade, and female should refer to male combatants or male civilians as a pu or uncle. And this is part of the morality principle. And if a man and a woman fall in love with one another without permission, then the persons would be separated. However, later on, if they observe that they behaved, then the marriage would be organized for them. However, usually such a wedding ceremony was held for one particular couple only, and it was held at night.
Est-ce que Khe Sampan vous a parlé?
Did Khe Sampan talk to you about the enemy during the meetings you had with him, particularly at the Unalom Pagoda? Did he tell you who were the enemies of the revolution?
No, I did not hear him say anything about that.
Avez-vous entendu parler de l'objectif d'un...
Did you hear of an objective to attain 15 to 20 million inhabitants in Cambodia within a very short time frame?
No, I did not hear that.
Est-ce que lors de cette réunion à Wat Unalom...
During that meeting at the Unalom Pagoda, did Khe Sampan justify why women aged 19 and above had to get married?
Est-ce que ce n'était pas un peu tôt de se marier à 19 ans?
According to you, wasn't it somewhat early to get married at the age of 19?
Personally, I think the age was rather early, but I cannot say about other people. For me, I considered myself as young when I was 19 years old.
À part le fait de dire que les femmes...
Apart from saying that women aged 19 and above had to get married in order to make children and to increase the forces of Democratic Cambodia and defend territory, did Kyo Sampan also talk of the conception of the revolutionary family compared to the situation before, or as opposed to the situation that had obtained before?
No, he did not mention anything about that. Even I don't understand the word that you use, that is the revolutionary family.
En d'autres termes,
in other words, whether it was Kyo Sampan or another cadre saying so, did you hear anyone during the Democratic Cambodia regime say that relations between children and parents, brothers and sisters, could not remain same as they had been before the Khmer Rouge regime?
I don't get your question. Are you talking about the disconnection from your family tie?
oui, c'est ça. Est-ce qu'il était, sous le Cambodia démocratique, nécessaire de se détacher?
During the Democratic Cambodia regime, was it necessary to remain detached from one's parents?
Yes, he spoke about that, and usually people who chaired meetings spoke about that as well, that we should not have any feelings toward our parents, and that we should detach ourselves from our parents, and we should focus on our work. And I did not know whether the upper level spoke about that as well, because I rarely met them.
Est-ce que avoir des sentiments forts pour ces...
Was having strong feelings for parents or family members incompatible with collectivism, or in other words, was it necessary to be detached from private property? Did you hear anyone talk about that?
Yeah.
As for the parents and siblings, we were completely detached from one another. And we did not have any much personal belonging. Everywhere we went, we would only have a small sack with us. And if we have any bulky items, then we would be searched and the item confiscated. And that happened at my place.
Est-ce qu'on vous a jamais dit sous le régime que vous n'étiez plus l'enfant de vos parents?
Were you never told during the regime that you were no longer the children of your parents, but the children of Angkar?
As I've stated, that's what Angkar said, that we were with Angkar, and Angkar, we were under the supervision of Angkar, and that we should not look for the parents because Angkar was the parents. And during subsequent meetings and study sessions, the same message was reiterated, that we were under the supervision of Angkar, and Angkar was our parents.
Est-ce que cela signifie que vous deviez accepter toutes les...
Did it mean that you had to accept all of Angkar's decisions?
Yes, we had to respect all instructions from Angkar. If not, then we could not survive. As in my case, I could not survive till today.
À propos du mariage, je voudrais...
Regarding marriages, and in light of what you said a while ago regarding your marriage, I'll read out to you an extract of an official document of Democratic Kampuchea to see whether its contents rings a bell to you or corresponds to what you experience, and it is document E3/775. It is a supplement that was reprinted in June 1975, an excerpt of the magazine, The Youth Flag, dated February 1974. And the title of the document is as follows: Conception of the Revolutionary World and the Matter of the Founding of Families. And the extract I'm reading in Khmer has the ERN number 00407100 and 01. In English, 0041 794 2 and 43. In French, 0059 3930. And in this extract, they are talking about the manner in which young men and women have to choose their partners. Point number 2 states as follows: you must respect Angkar's discipline at all cost. In this problem of founding families, regardless of the manner in which Angkar and the collectivity examines and decides, you must at all costs respect it. You must not be disappointed. You must not challenge what he says. In fact, only Angkar and the collectivity is capable of examining the problem thoroughly and from every standpoint. End of quote. In this extract, it is said that Angkar's decision and the collectivity's decision has to be respected as regards the choice of a partner. Is this something that you are also told?
The content of the document is consistent with what I experienced during the regime. We had to respect the opinion of the collective, and that could not be changed.
Tout à l'heure, vous avez dit que vous aviez refusé...
A while ago, you said that you refused twice to get married, and that on the third occasion, you were ordered to go to Orusai market. How much time elapsed between the first time you were asked to get married and the third time you were told to do so and that you had to accept?
The first time I refused, when I made it before the chief of the area I lived, and about 3 or 4 days later, I was asked again, And a few days later, I was asked again, and then the chief sent me to meet with an uncle in the office, but I did not meet with the chief, and I met with his deputy, and the same message was relayed to me, so I had no choice. Then I decided to marry whoever crippled person that was assigned to me.
Vous avez dit être allé au marché.
You said that you went to Orusai market and that you did not meet the uncle there. Did you also have to meet the chief of the textile unit, who was also the chief of the war unit, called Kun? Did you also have to see that person?
I was told to meet with Uncle Kun, but he was not there, so I met with Mon and Chum. And the two uncles not only spoke to me, but he also spoke to other women. I was asked first, and later on I left, and I didn't stay there to listen to what they spoke to other women. I only met these two uncles.
Est-ce que, au moment où ces deux oncles vous...
At the time when those two uncles talked to you about that problem, was it obvious to you that you did not have a choice to refuse again to get married?
Yes, I said that I had no choice because I made my refusal for this for 2 or 3 times, and for that time I did not dare to refuse.
Et quelles conséquences?
And what consequences did you anticipate at the time if you were to refuse once more to get married? Did they explain to you what would happen to you if you refused to get married?
When I arrived, the two uncles did not threaten me. They spoke nice words, and they said that not only I who was to get married, other cadres were to get married as well. They spoke quite a lot, but I cannot recall everything, and I knew that since I could not refuse, then I had to abide by Onka's instructions.
Étant donné la stricte discipline,
Given the strict discipline to which you were subjected on a daily basis, did you think at the time that persistent refusal could put you in danger?
After I made several refusals, I was thinking about that, because other people seem not to refuse. So for that reason, I did not dare to refuse, since I was afraid that I would be accused of something. For the first time, I was accused of having a fiancé, and later on, I was accused of having another boyfriend at the ministry. And I told them that since Onka had as many eyes as pineapples, they could do that investigation. So after I made these number of refusals, the chief did not say anything and sent me to the office. And as I said, I met with the two uncles when I arrived. They spoke nice words, and I knew that I could not make any further refusal, so I would abide by Onka.
Je voudrais revenir un instant sur
I would like us to go back to the marriage ceremony and the commitment that you had to make as a couple that was created on the spot. This is what you said in your civil party application, E3/5010. And the page in French is 012-12-920. In Khmer, 0100-3331. And in English, 013-12791. And I quote what is stated in that civil party application form, which is yours. In that process, there were no ceremonies, no the presence of parents, no any relatives. They merely told us to stand up and to make a commitment, one couple after the other, that would love one another, that would endeavor to work for Ankara, and that we would not betray Ankara, and lastly, to make children for Ankara. End of quote. That commitment to love one another, to endeavor to work for Ankara and not to betray Ankara, and to make children for Ankara, something that the person who presided over the ceremony asked you to repeat, that each couple had to repeat.
Yes, after the marriage, each couple has to stand up and make a commitment. However, not every couple has to go because it would take more time. So only 2 or 3 couples were allowed to stand up and make the commitment, and later on the ceremony was concluded.
So does this mean that these 2 to 3 couples somehow represented the commitment of the 12 other couples to work for Ankara and to respect Ankara and to make children for Ankara?
Yes, 2 or 3 couples represented the 12 couples.
You said that it was also necessary to commit oneself not to betray Ankara. What did you know about this word or about this idea of treason? Who was considered a traitor under the DK regime?
I do not know about the meaning or scope of the word treason. I only heard the word was used. While I was in Phnom Penh, I did not know about the arrest or execution. I only heard about the transfer or relocations of cadre. After one cadre was transferred and then another one was put in charge.
During this wedding ceremony, were you clearly told or were you suggested, since you were supposed to bear children, were you told that you had to consummate your marriage quickly? Did someone talk to you about this during that ceremony?
President, Madam Civil Party, please wait until your microphone is activated. Civil Party, during the marriage ceremony, the leadership also talked about such aspects that we should love each other and we should build happiness for our marriage couples, and we should produce children as many as possible for Angka. They did not talk much, but they briefly talk on these aspects.
You said that during the 3 first nights you were being monitored when you were sleeping with your husband and that you remained quiet. So why on the 4th night did you accept to consummate your marriage? Which elements drove you to do so?
The first night, second night, and third night, we stayed with each other for 3 days, and during the 3 days we were monitored. We were afraid of we were afraid of them, therefore we kept silence. And after the 3 days, we were separated, and then about a week or 10 days later, we were allowed to meet each other. I did not remember the exact date.
Did you have an opportunity to speak to your husband and to see if he was also afraid of refusing this marriage or not? Did he share with you his fears because he did not know you before he married you?
I never asked him about that. We were shy of each other. I did not ask him, and he did not ask me either.
Earlier, you said that if the militiamen discovered that a couple refused to consummate the marriage, the couple would be sent to re-education. Was this the case for one or several of the 12 couples that got married at the same time as you? Did some not consummate the marriage and then were sent for re-education?
Among the 12 couples, I did not know about the others. I knew only about the 3 couples who stayed with me, and 1 couple did not get along well with each other. But because under constant monitoring, they kept silent. The husband was an ethnic minority and the wife was an ethnic Khmer. Both of them did not get along with each other. And then a while later, the wife reported to Angka, and then the husband was called to be re-educated on 1 or 2 occasions. And the man said that he did not love the woman, he loved only men. And later on, Angka called him for re-education again, and then he said that his manhood did not work. And the Angka called in a medic to test his manhood, whether it worked or not. And after several education, the husband agreed to stay with the wife, and both of them stay with each other, and the wife got pregnant, and she delivered a baby boy, and later on the wife died. And the child was given to the chief of the unit of the husband, and the chief of the transportation unit was female. I don't know whether she was the wife of a cadre or not. And that was the only case I knew. For other cases of couples, I was not aware of.
In your civil party application, E3/5010 at Khmer page 01003331. And the same page as I mentioned earlier, English 013-12791, French 012-12920. And you said, I forced myself to consummate my marriage because this was the only way to save my life. Was that what you felt back then? Were you so afraid? Were you fearing for your life if you did not consummate your marriage?
Yes, I was fearful. The reason was that I was forced several times, so I had to follow the order. I could not anticipate what would happen if I kept on refusing.
Est-ce que vous...
Did you become pregnant under the Khmer Rouge regime or afterwards?
During Khmer Rouge regime, I was not pregnant. Only when I arrived in my homeland that I became pregnant. I was not pregnant during Khmer Rouge regime.
Earlier, you said on several occasions that it was necessary to get married to bear as many children as possible, and you also said that sometimes you would only see your husband once a month or once every 2 months. Didn't you find that strange? On the one hand, you had to bear children for Ankar, and on the other hand, you didn't have many opportunities to see your husband or to live like a normal couple.
Yes, but I don't know what to do.
Est-ce que vous avez...
Did you ever hear about other marriages involving some of your colleagues who were aged between 9 and 25, whether it be in the unit where you would gather war spoils or later on at Orusei? Was there a succession of marriages, or were marriages only organized once?
Yes, there were. The case of the couple that I mentioned earlier, the age were 26, and there were also marriages of those who were old, who were more than 30s. Only the marriage ceremony at my time were the couple mostly young.
You spoke about the working conditions at the Psa Orusei, the Orusei market, in your supplementary information form, which you provided to the chamber, E3/1350A, French page 0103-0100, Khmer 0100-3331, and English 01137888. And you said the following: in the middle of that year, that was 1976, they transferred me to the textile unit at Psa Orusei, and I had to assemble black clothes. I was obliged to assemble 100 skirts and shirts per day. Some of the women could not meet that quota. Others would faint since they were so exhausted and so hungry. End of quote. So, given this exhaustion, among your colleagues, were some suffering from amenorrhea, that is to say that they wouldn't menstruate?
Among the females, many of them had a rudong bath. When they were forced to work hard, one day Pol Pot came to the sewing unit and he stood in front of me. He asked me, "Could you survive on one bread a day?" I told him that no, we could not survive on one bread a day. It's different from the males. And we did not have enough food to eat. We ate, sometimes we ate morning glory cooked in soup. And that was what I told him, and he laughed. And then the next day, he ordered us to be given 2 breads a day. And that was the time when I met Uncle Pol Pot, and he asked me that question.
So your working conditions were terrible, and you were underfed. You spoke about fatigue and exhaustion and hunger. But weren't you part of the elite of the regime? Because you were in Phnom Penh and you were a worker.
Est-ce qu'on vous a dit si vous...
Were you told that you were part of the elite?
No, I was not told that. We did work collectively.
Je passe.
Now I'd like to turn to another topic. You spoke about the textile unit at Orusei. When did you leave that unit to go work somewhere else? And why were you transferred elsewhere?
In February 1978, I was removed from Phnom Penh. At the beginning, only the husbands were transferred away. And then in the afternoon, the wives were also removed. They were told that they would be taken away to join with their husbands. The husbands were transferred to put at Kontut stream. And when I arrived at Steng Kontut or Kontut stream, I saw them. And I also saw the Chinese. Some of the elder Chinese men had long moustache. And I asked them where they were sent from. They told me that they came from a factory. They were working in the factory prior to the Khmer Rouge regime. And when the Khmer Rouge came to power, those Chinese men were kept there. And when I arrived there, I was asked why I was transferred from Phnom Penh. I was put in a room where it contained cuffs and some torture equipments. And the interrogator asked me, you know why I was removed from Phnom Penh? And I said that I did not know. And he told me that because I was connected to the network of the leaders of previous regime. I stayed there for a while, and then I was removed to Wat Slang, where I was assigned to dig canal and build dike.
One question regarding this. Were you accused of having ties with the Lon Nol network, or rather with the leaders of the North Zone, with Kon Ko Tun alias Nuk, whom you spoke about earlier?
I did not know. They only said that I was connected to the leadership. And it was not only me alone. All the people who were transported there by vehicles were alleged of that kind of connection.
Alors,
Well, in your supplementary information chamber form E3/5010-1, it's on the same pages in French 0103, 0101, English 0113, 7888, Khmer 01003332. It's rather hard to read the Khmer version, it's practically illegible, but you said that the Khmer Rouge transferred you close to Chom Chau, to Shrai Dom Pagoda, before being sent to Pek Nil. And you added that this pagoda was under the personal control of Khieu Samphan. So what did you have to do when you were there? And what was this Shrai Dom Pagoda used for?
President, the floor is given to the Defense Counsel for Khieu Samphan. Madam Civil Party, please hold on. You may have the floor, Defense Counsel for Khieu Samphan. Deputy Co-Prosecutor, I would like to clarify that in fact the pagoda name is Chrai Thom.
Yes, a small remark here in order to provide the entire quote, because this quote is incomplete here. The civil party apparently said, according to the supplementary information form, that the pagoda was under Khieu Samphan's form, but the civil party said that is what I heard, at least. So I think it's important to add this specification.
oui, bien sûr.
Yes, of course, but as an introduction, what did you have to do when you were there, and what was this pagoda used for? What was the Shrai Dom Pagoda close to Chom Chau used for back then?
When I was transferred to Kantut Stream, and then 7 days later I was transferred to Wat Slang, and the chief of Wat Slang unit was arrested, and I was removed and put into the mobile units in Bai Chan. It was under Samrang Tong district. I was there for a while, and then while we were over there, our forces were separated into different villages. 3 or 4 of us were put in one village. And members of our unit kept on disappearing. And we felt fearful. So we escaped from Samrang Tong to Chrai Dom Pagoda. I never met Khieu Samphan personally there, but I heard that Chrai Dom Pagoda was under the supervision of Khieu Samphan. I was there for a while, and I never saw him there. I saw only the subordinates who were doing rice farming there.
Aside from rice farming, was there anything else that you had to do when you were there? Did you produce anything in particular at Shraitom Pagoda aside from rice?
នៅវត្តជ័យដំ
At Chiraidam Pagoda, during the dry season, we built dike and reservoir, and during rainy season, we transplanted rice. I was then removed to Picknell Mountain. Some of us were removed to Picknell Mountain to dig earth.
Savez-vous
Do you know why people said that Kirsampan supervised that place personally?
One day on the New Year Day, I was allowed to go for a walk, and there were many people from Phnom Penh who were based at Chiraidam Pagoda. When I went to that pagoda, I told about the hardship at my cooperatives, and those people told me to escape from my cooperative. So I escaped from my cooperative in Samrang Tong district to Chiraidam Pagoda, and people told me that the pagoda was under the direct supervision of Khieu Samphan. But while I was there, I never met him.
ហើយមើលទៅកន្លែងហ្នឹងអត់មានបណ្ដាហ៊ានចូល
And at that place, no one dared to enter the compound, even the authority from the district.
When you were at that pagoda, did some of your colleagues disappear?
ខ្ញុំមកនៅវត្តហ្នឹង
I stayed at the pagoda for about a month. There was no disappearance of people. And the chief of the pagoda had one arm amputated.
Dernière question.
My last question. You spoke earlier about Pol Pot's visit to your textile unit. Was he accompanied by other leaders on that day? Did he come possibly with foreigners? And did you also see other senior leaders on other occasions visit this Orusei textile confection unit? So several questions in one. First of all, was Pol Pot accompanied by other leaders from the party or by foreign delegations? And on other occasions, did other leaders aside from Pol Pot come visit this textile unit?
ខ្ញុំបានជួប
I met Pol Pot only one time. I saw only him and his bodyguards. He walked from the east, and when he reached my place, he came in to ask me, and then he continued his walking. I did not see any other people accompany him beside his bodyguards.
Et comment aviez
And how did you get to know that this was Pol Pot?
President, Madam Civil Party, please wait until your microphone is activated. Civil Party, although I did not know him before, I was familiar with him because I saw him on a documentary movie when he went to visit North Korea. And the documentary film was shown to us. I met him only once.
Et pour finir,
And to finish, and I apologize for putting another question to you, I'd like to put a question to you regarding Khieu Samphan. You saw him twice. You said that you saw him during 2 meetings. So how did you then get to know that this was Khieu Samphan? Was he introduced? Did somebody mention his name? Were you told that this was Khieu Samphan, or did you just guess that?
They told us that he was Khieu Samphan, but I myself felt that I was familiar with his face. And when I saw him, I knew that he was Khieu Samphan. At that time, he had a small build. He was thin, and he wore a short. He wore a black T-shirt.
merci.
Thank you, Civil Party, for your answers. We have no further questions, Mr. President.
President, thank you, Deputy Co-Prosecutor. It is now convenient time for the adjournment. The Chamber will resume its hearing tomorrow, 31st August 2016 at 9 a.m. Madam Civil Party, the hearing of your testimony as a civil party has not yet concluded. You are therefore invited to come back tomorrow. Tomorrow's hearing, the Chamber continue to hear the testimony of Madam Chia Diep, and we will hear the testimony of Civil Party.
បង្គាប់ឲ្យនរមន្ត្រីគុំឃាំងនាំខ្លួនជនជាប់ចោទទាំងពីររូបលោកនួនជានិងលោកខៀវសំផនត្រឡប់ទៅ
Court officer, in collaboration with VISU, please make necessary arrangement for Madam Civil Party to the place where she is staying. And security personnel are instructed to bring Khieu Samphan and Noon Chie back to the detention facility. And